Tonight, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office is investigating the discovery of skeletal remains. They believe the remains to be that of two men who were reported missing in 2021. News Channel 7's Allison Baker joins us live in our studios with the latest in that investigation.
Nisa, the information is limited at this time due to the ongoing investigation, but the Jackson County Sheriff's Office can confirm skeleton remains were found earlier this week. Now, law enforcement says they received information leading them to a search at a wooded area near Jacob City. And while canvassing the area, investigators say they discovered the skeletal remains. At this time, law enforcement has made no official identification of the remains. However, investigators tell News Channel 7 they believe the remains to be that of two missing men, Nicholas Hollis and Stefan Gaines. The two men were reported missing back in October of 2021. This is an ongoing and active investigation. The Sheriff's Office says a press conference will be held at a later time when they can release more information. Nisa.
All right, thank you, Allison. Now, if you do have information regarding this investigation, please contact law enforcement.